Welcome back to Petrovac in Montenegro for the second part of Europe District. As we saw before the news break, Montenegro will soon start accession talks with Brussels to become a member of the European Union. Our Brussels correspondent will tell us how this small Balkan nation is perceived by Europeans. We'll also find out more about the fate of 800 Roma refugees after their camp was totally destroyed in a fire at the beginning of the summer. And we'll meet a new guest in the program, Milena Jovicevic. She doesn't like mass tourism. She's an artist and she wants to show us Montenegro's hidden places. But first, they're the pride of Montenegro. The country's female handball team won a silver medal at the London Olympics, the first in the history of Montenegro. They'll tell our reporter what they expect from EU membership.
Winning a medal at the London Olympics was a dream come true. Bagging their country's first Olympic medal ever meant Montenegro's women's handball team will enter their nation's history books. Competing in the Games for the first time, the team won silver to book a place on the podium, beaten in the final by world champions Norway. Fans call it a priceless prize for a country of only 600,000 inhabitants.
We're very pleased that they have got people talking about Montenegro. And the silver medal they won is as good as gold.
Some people aren't satisfied with silver, but it's a great achievement for a small country like Montenegro.
In the coastal town Bar, supporters have come to see this year's European Champions League winners Podgorica, the club almost the sole provider of players to the national side. For years now, Podgorica's nurtured handballers considered among the best in the world, some of them now retired. Many of the younger players, still basking in the Olympic glory, say they're proud to put the spotlight on Montenegrin sport.
We conquered Europe. Last year, we were European champions. That is why I think that since then, everyone in Europe knows about Montenegro. Sport has allowed us to make a name for our country.
The Olympics were only the third international outing for the handball team, following Euro 2010 and the World Championships a year later. Since their country's independence in 2006, Montenegrins have built a reputation as serious contenders on the sports field, thanks to their high fitness levels. The men's water polo team fell just short of a medal at the London Games.
I think that sport is the best ambassador for Montenegro. Just look at our results and success. This shows that Montenegro deserves its place in the European Union, among other European countries. I'm convinced that sport will help our integration. Sport allows Montenegrins to express their desire to be in the EU.
Montenegrins are hoping team spirit and sportsmanship will prove a winning combination as their country makes its pitch for EU membership.
And we're back in the Bay of Petrovac with its famous sapphire waters. But beyond the cliches, what do Europeans know about Montenegro? This is a report from our correspondent in Brussels, Katalin Landaburu.
In this little family restaurant, the Bakija father and son offer a number of products from their native Montenegro. In Belgium for over 20 years, they fled the former Yugoslavia at the start of the war. Since then, it's through food that they maintain the link with their culture, trying to make it better known. A challenge indeed.
There are those who came here as tourists and found it lovely. Others have heard of criminal activities. That gives it a bad reputation. But most people don't know anything about the country.
No, they don't really know it. It takes a little explaining. That's why we put these cards around like that.
To verify these comments, we talked to some locals. What does Montenegro mean to you?
Yugoslavia.
The Balkans, the Adriatic, a country that has suffered a lot.
Montenegro, diamonds. I don't know.
Montenegro? Monaco, perhaps? It's in that area, I think.
Unlike most Europeans, Jean-Claude Legros is very familiar with Montenegro. His various stays over there have also inspired a tale. This ode to the wild, illustrated by pictures of his girlfriend and set to music, has given rise to a show performed at various festivals in Belgium.
I plunged into the cold lake. The fish brushed against me, and I felt as though cloaked, as though swallowed. I lost my old life.
What does Montenegro mean to you?
Beauty above all. The beauty of the landscape. The kindness of people. The sympathy that they have for anyone who visits.
A type of ambassador, Jean-Claude Legros has contributed in his own way to raising awareness about a fascinating country. Next July, he's been invited to Montenegro itself to put on his performance.
Across the Balkans, Roma people are among the poorest citizens. They often accuse authorities of doing little to help them. The issue has been at the center of attention in Montenegro after a camp was burned in a fire earlier this summer. The European Union has already pledged €2.5 million. It's now urging Montenegro to find solutions to relocate more than 800 Roma refugees.
In the early hours of the morning, fire breaks out at the Konik Roma camp. Drought in Montenegro means that very quickly the flames spread, destroying all of the makeshift homes. Residents use the few means they have to try to extinguish the blaze and salvage what they can. Around 150 families lose all they have. On our arrival, the camp's residents are ready to vent their anger.
Come and see all of our tents. Come and see the conditions we live in. We have nothing.
These tents were set up next to the remains of the old camp.
Come here, come here.
This woman shows us where she lives, with her husband and children.
I have a little baby who lives with me. I'm sick. I have asthma and heart problems. I can't live like this. It's like a toilet. Look at that baby.
Like most of Konik's Roma, this family originally comes from Kosovo. For 13 years, they've been refugees, having fled the wars that tore apart former Yugoslavia. Despite the tough living conditions, they say they prefer staying in Montenegro.
The Montenegrins are quite friendly with us. I mean, the citizens of Montenegro. Some respect us. We take care of the rubbish bins here. We make our living from this. And some people wait for us and give us things. They're honest. Of course, there are other more unkind people who throw things like pots and tomatoes from the 3rd or 5th floor to hurt us.
If the Roma are to work, study and receive healthcare in Montenegro, the country must first clarify their legal status. The issue hangs heavy in negotiations with the EU. The government say they're developing a more sustainable policy.
The government strategy is based on 2 points. The first is to give them a legal status and then offer them a home. Regarding their status, we want them to have a right of permanent residence. So far, there have been 8,000 applications for residency, and we've managed to meet 5,000 of these requests.
Back at the camp, Red Cross worker Snezhana is beginning her round. The Roma residents have many questions, mostly concerning their impending relocation or about papers for administrative procedures. Arietta can't read and needs help reading a letter from local authorities.
You'll get a copy of your birth certificates and those of your daughter and your granddaughter so that you can get your papers.
As winter approaches, these tents will soon be inadequate to protect from the cold. The Montenegrin government sought an emergency solution. These containers are set to become the Roma's new home.
This one is going to be used for pediatrics and for general medicine services. In a few months' time, people will have the same containers to live in. For the time being, it's a temporary solution for the Roma.
The European Union has promised to invest several million euros to construct permanent housing starting in 2013. In the meantime, life goes on for the children of Konik.
I'm here in the region of Lake Skadar, Montenegro's largest lake, to meet our new guest in the program, Milena Jovicevic. She's a Montenegrin visual artist, and I'm going to meet her right here. Very nice to meet you.
Thank you.
This is the village of Rijeka Černojevica. I got it right.
Yes.
Why did you choose to meet us here?
Because I was so many times in my childhood here, and I come every week here, and I adore this place. The family of my father is from this region, just one village next to Rijeka Crnojevića. My grandmother was selling the cheese, because here it was a very big market, and they sell fish, food, cheese. It was the most important trading center. We have this old, very famous old bridge. It's from the dynasty Petrović. I come here to recharge my batteries, to enjoy the silence, to find my serenity. Nirvana. I adore driving here, even if everybody thinks that Montenegro has very dangerous roads.
Ooh. Milena, from this hill, we have an amazing view of Lake Skadar.
Yes, we are here in the middle of the fjord of Lake Skadar, the biggest reserve of sweet water in Europe. And it's the lake with so many endemic species of fish, birds, plants. So it's very important not only for Montenegro, but for all Europe. We have natural border with Albania. Montenegro has 2/3 of Skadar Lake and Albania 1/3. I hope that they will really, because it's national park, they will not allow anybody to build or to disturb this beautiful landscape.
And our next stop is at Zijevna Canyon, famous for its green river and waterfalls, but where's the water gone?
I don't know, we have very dry summer. You see, the river disappeared. You cannot control the nature.
And precisely, I know you have a series of works on natural disorders.
I have some series of photos of natural disasters. I have some series of Paris flooded, underwater completely. I have just one little dog that swims in the lake around the Notre Dame. I have Rome in the Ice Age. And I have New York that seems like in desert after a drought.
And you're very much interested in the condition of women in our modern societies.
Yes, we are completely obsessed by consuming everything, even the body. I used table football, which is typically men's game, but I put it in the context of feminine fight with two different teams. One as a sexual object, it's a silicone puppet. I found it completely unnatural. And the other side, we have traditional women that are also one object of femininity, but completely devoted to home, to husband. It's a fight of traditional presentation and the presentation of consumer society, society that we live. Christophe, I have to show you something. We stopped on the road, and you will see. Dobar dan.
Dobar dan.
Hi.
I'm Nenad.
You are?
Nenad.
Nenad, Christophe, nice to meet you. You seem to sell a lot of things, including wine.
Yeah. Only from our vineyard. It's limited edition, about 600 liters wine and 150 rakia.
Rakia, yes.
Typical spirit from the Balkans. It's very strong. Do you like it?
It's very strong. No, I don't like
it. It's about 52.5 degrees.
Yeah. We can try the wine if you want.
Okay, well, let's try the wine. I would love to.
Not rakia.
Thank you. Fala puno.
Now you will say in Montenegrin, živjeli.
Živjeli, Milena.
Živio, Christophe. Nenad, živio.
And we'll try your wine.
I think Christopher.
Christophe is Christopher.
Christopher didn't find America. Christopher found Montenegro.
And we found Montenegro for sure. And our last stop is the multicultural port of Ulcinj in the south of Montenegro.
Yeah, just after the very long sandy beach, which is 13 kilometers, with river Bojana, we have a natural border with Albania. Now we have 3 religions here. We have Orthodox, Muslims, and Catholic. I like very much the region because of that. But the place is very authentic, I think, because it's a little bit different from the coast. And now we are in this paradise.
Well, Milena, we'll have to leave it here.
No.
Yes, but thank you so much for being our guide here in Montenegro. We had a fantastic time, and there's a beautiful sunset around the corner. Thank you for watching this edition of Europe District from Montenegro. We'll return next month as we continue our journey across the Balkans, so please stay with us on France 24.